South African elections are becoming more interesting as each day passes. The MK has made its demands clear, and Cyril Ramaphosa is in trouble. They want an ANC which is not led by Cyril Ramaphosa, which has nothing to do with Cyril Ramaphosa. And there is a hint from South African ANC big wigs who are actually not in agreement with having Cyril Ramaphosa for far longer periods. Let us hear what the MK spokesperson said.
To ensure beneficiation and to create jobs for our people. We won't be able to nationalize the Reserve Bank, so we can actually separate the Prudential Authority in order for us to issue licenses to black people. So we have black owners of banks. We can't effect those kind of changes until we change this constitution. We won't be able to institute reforms of water as long as the Irrigation Act of Apartheid is still active. And there are certain individuals that have still got controls of dams when water is supposed to be used for human sustainability. And yet they want to come and commercialize water. And when we take them to the court as the government, guess what happens? There's a clause in the Constitution that protects them. No, there's a sunset clause, remember, that we signed, CODESA. And today, guess what? I'm protected. I can own a whole dam, and I don't care about the community over there. If the government wants water for these people, they must buy it through me. I'm telling you about a real-life scenario in Jozini Dam. That's the reality. So how are you going to effect change when this particular individual, in actual fact, let's be honest, his ancestors were visitors here. But he owns a resource that is owned by the ancestors of this country, the black children people. But yet we have to be buying water from him? Doesn't make sense. So in order for us to effect the kind of change that we want in this country, we have to change the constitution first and foremost. So if you're going to come and have a discussion with us about a coalition, that's the first answer you must give. Second, you're asking me about the Cyril Ramaphosa ANC. We won't engage with the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa. We can have a discussion with the ANC. But the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa? How is that possible?
It's in reality, how does that Cyril Ramaphosa is the leader of the ANC.
We will not engage in a discussion with the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa.
Which ANC?
The ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa. We can have a discussion with the ANC. We'll engage with the ANC, but not the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa.
Which one are you going to?
Which is the current ANC is under who?
So as long as Cyril is the leader of the ANC,
we won't engage with the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa. Bought. The presidency was bought. It's a fact. So how are we going to engage the president of a traitor who is bought?
The question is direct, saying as long as it's...
And my response is direct. My response is direct. It's clear. We're not going to engage with the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa. We'll engage with the ANC. We'll have a discussion with them, but not the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa.
I want to put down slide 7, the shopping list of political parties that you're willing to work with, and which political parties are not to work for you.
Let's put it this way. We want to form a united front, and there's no doubt about that, right? And we'll find ourselves in that position at some point, naturally. But here's the criteria. Are you patriotic? Are you progressive? Do we share the same ideologies? Are we aligned in terms of policy? Those are going to be the deciding factors in terms of how we work. Otherwise, if we're not aligned in these, for the next 5 years, we won't be focusing on delivery. We'll be focusing on arguing on policy. And we can't afford that. We don't have the time or the luxury, and neither do our people, to be waiting around people having points of order in government. And that's why we actually wanted a two-thirds majority, so we don't have to be negotiating. But in any case, if we find ourselves in that situation, we'll do it.
Are you willing to be backbenchers in the KZN legislature if the DA, IFP, and the ANC form a coalition?
How is that possible when you're going to hit 60%? I mean,
if you don't get 50%,
that's response. That would be a response in hypothetical terms. I'm not going to respond in hypothetical terms because based on what you see on that board, that is far from reality.
Projections put you guys at 45%.
That's a projection.
When you said that you were going to talk with someone who is, only wants to change the constitution, do these changes also entail allowing Mr. Zuma to come back as a president? Is that a prerequisite?
Absolutely. Why not? I mean, we will decide at this point. We're quite confident that we are going to be the opposition against the ANC. Why not? I mean, like I told you, KZN alone is at least, right now probably about 60% of the VDs and the votes that have been counted. The other VDs have not been counted, which are the larger ones. Remember, KZN is 6 million, 5.5 million votes base. So when that comes in, that number is going to change. If you've noticed, the DA's numbers have slowed down. They're not growing. They've slowed down because all of their smaller VDs have been exhausted. They don't have big VDs. They're not in the rural areas. That's why we say, how is it possible that they can call themselves Rescue South Africa as a party for all South Africans? Can't. So that's the reality. The fact of the matter is we could be in a position very soon where we will make a determination who becomes president, and whoever becomes president will be told that you're going to give President Zuma a presidential pardon, and when he gives the presidential pardon, we'll bring President Zuma back in his National Assembly, put him back as president. Simple as that, before we even change the constitution.
To sum it up, you've made to request Ramaphosa out of the leadership of his.
So this is what they've made, and these are the demands. Let us just recap very important issues. He says that he's not going to engage with the ANC of President Cyril Ramaphosa, which means they are in agreement with having a new ANC leader, possibly Paul Mashatile. This is the reason why the DA is angry and the DA is making all sorts of noise. We had the leader of DA making it clear that they won't work with the MK and the EFF. And number two, he says they want presidential pardon for President Zuma so that he goes back to parliament. To do what when he goes back to parliament? To be the next president of South Africa again. So is it a deal that they want to bring back President Jacob Zuma as the president of South Africa? Maybe there are possibilities because they have a certain direction which they need to take, and they believe that Jacob Zuma is the right man to do so. We wait to see if that's going to happen. They say they want to change the constitution, right? So this is an issue of the ANC, the MK, the EFF, the IFP. They work together for the appropriation of land without compensation. And this is going to happen only under President Jacob Zuma. And they say they want to nationalize banks. They want South Africa, the economy itself, to own banks. They don't want these resources to be owned by individuals. Yesterday, Steenhuisen spoke about the issue of privatization. He spoke about the issue of private ownership. This is the issue which these comrades are fighting at this point in time and say, this is not rational, this is not applicable, this cannot happen, that we go back to colonialism. This is the argument they're making. So this is a man who is very, very clear about the terms, about the direction they need to take, about what must happen. And they are not mincing their words. They are clearly and direct that they don't want Ramaphosa to come back. They want Ramaphosa gone. They are very, very, very direct in terms of their demands. And you would see that things are not going to be well because Jacob Zuma made it clear that they are not going to accept any results being announced. They said no results must be announced. And for sure, the system is not moving at this point in time. It is actually not moving. We do not even know when they are going to complete their to update their portal. They are stuck at 99% for over a day now. And this is reality. I think reality is sinking in South Africa that the ANC has lost majority and they no longer have that power which they used to have. But what is the survival of the ANC is the negotiation by the MK party, which means the ANC will have to risk losing Cyril Ramaphosa and protect their integrity, because the chairperson of ANC spoke about this issue eloquently and said, we do not care about anything else. We must unite with the political parties with the same ideologies with us. And that is something which was reiterated by the Kenyan former president as well. He said, you must put your similarities together and say, let us move in this direction. So, which means this issue is clear. The ANC cannot risk having the DA or having a coalition with the DA because they do not know the consequences which will follow. This is what is happening. We'll continue to watch and see what is happening in South Africa.